When President Bush... When President Bush meets an autistic teenager, they must wear name tags so we can tell them apart. New rule, you can't be as tired as we are of you. The latest excuse for Bush administration foul-ups is that top members of the White House staff are physically and emotionally exhausted. If there was just some sort of stress-relieving activity that could be performed right there in the Oval Office.
Great job.
Well, I'd suggest a nice vacation out in the country, but the last time that happened, somebody got shot. New rule, someone has to make a mustard container that doesn't squirt out yellow water before it gets to the actual... I get all excited for lunch, and then Grey Poupon pees on my sandwich. I suppose I could shake the bottle first, but fuck you, I'm an American consumer. Not only should your mustard be pre-blended to my specifications, it should also whiten my teeth. And finally, new rule, and I never thought I'd be the one to say this, but don't show me your tits. Last week, the world's first nurse-in was held to protest the case of a woman who was breastfeeding in public and asked by an Applebee's manager not to leave, but just to cover up a little bit, because the waitstaff got tired of hearing, "I'll have what that kid's having." Look, I'm not trying to be insensitive here. I know your baby needs to eat, but so do I, and this is Applebee's, so I'm already nauseous. Breastfeeding a baby is an intimate act, and I don't want to watch strangers performing intimate acts, at least not for free. It cheapens it. But breastfeeding activists, yes, breastfeeding activists, called lactivists, say this is a human right and appropriate everywhere because it's natural. Well, so is masturbating, but I generally don't do that at Applebee's. Not in the main dining area, anyway. I mean, next thing, women will be wanting to give birth in the waterfall at the mall. Look, there's no principle at work here other than being too lazy to either plan ahead or cover up. It's not fighting for a right. It's fighting for the spotlight you surely will get when you go all Janet Jackson on everyone and get to drink in the oohs and ahs from the other customers because you made a baby. Something a dog can do. Only in America do women think they deserve a medal for having a kid. In China, women give birth on their lunch hour, and by the afternoon, they're back online painting lead onto Barbie dolls. New rule, stop saying that people make bad decisions because they're young. Have you seen this group? New rule, Old Spice will never be hip. Old Spice has introduced OS, fragrance for men. Yes, that same great scent from 1938. Now in a spray bottle. Yeah, because that's what chicks dig. Guys who smell like the uncle who molested them. OS. Like the men who wear it, a little too familiar. New rule, there are worse things on airplanes than terrorists. Virgin Airlines is promoting the power outlets on their planes with this ad of a woman blow-drying her hair at 30,000 feet. After washing it in what? The blue liquid in the toilet? Air travel is bad enough without turning it into a flying locker room. Let's see, 20 minutes before I land, I've got just enough time to shave my balls. You've done that. New rule, magic. Let's all picture Jason Alexander shaving his balls on a plane, shall we?
I can't even see my balls. What are you doing?
New rule, Magic Johnson can't lecture me about my health. Magic Johnson is the new spokesman for Aetna Health Insurance because there's nothing like health advice from an HIV-positive fat man. New rule, it's a convention, not a gay pride parade. I didn't even know Hulk Hogan was a Democrat. You know, there's a place for flamboyant displays of homosexual pride. The Republican convention. New rule, and I never thought I'd be the one to say this, but we must elect Obama so we can see more of those adorable kids. We may not be able to save America, but at least we'll go out with a cute sitcom. And how about that Michelle Obama? She's classy, she's sassy, she's the perfect combination. Half Jackie and half Jackée. And finally, new rule in 2 parts. A, you can't call yourself a think tank if all your ideas are stupid. And B, if you're someone from one of the think tanks that dreamed up the Iraq War and who predicted that we'd be greeted as liberators and that we wouldn't need a lot of troops, and that Iraqi oil would pay for the war, that the WMDs would be found, that the looting wasn't problematic, that the mission was accomplished, that the insurgency was in its last throes, that things would get better after the people voted, after the government was formed, after we got Saddam, after we got his kids, after we got Zarqawi, and that the whole bloody mess wouldn't turn into a civil war, you have to stop making predictions. You know, there's a name for people who are always wrong about everything all the time. Husbands.